So we got the Hellcat, and we're gonna put the SIG P365xl up too, and then we're gonna bring the Glock 48, which is not in the same exact size class, but we're gonna bring that out too. So.
Yep.
SIG P365xl. All three of these single stack offerings from major manufacturers have characteristics worthy of commendation in their own right. I'm a Glock guy, I really like the Glock 48, but even with that being said, I think the 365XL may be the best out of the box single stack carry option on the market to date, but time will tell. Again, the Glock 48 is an outstanding gun. The 365 is a great gun, and the Hellcat is developing its own little cult following. So they're all worth consideration. From my perspective, one of the standout characteristics of the XL, the 365XL, is it just has this intuitively flat shooting recoil impulse. It's pretty easy to track and easy to get back on target. I think most shooters will enjoy it. It was fun to have dear old dad out shooting with me a little bit more recently with all this COVID stuff happening, trying to talk him into starting a YouTube channel or maybe even writing a bit. The setup for this Glock 48 that I'm running is outstanding. I'm really happy with the features and the amalgamation, the alchemy that's come to bear as the bits and pieces have come together into this end product. We'll talk about it more in a second. So there's new springs in these shield mags, and there's a new barrel from Suarez, and we're going to go ahead and do defensive loads right off the top. We're going to have to do that a lot more to make sure, but the first sign is a good sign, so that's good. Still a cool idea that there's 15, I mean, everybody's heard of them now, but 15 rounds in this almost single stack mag that's made for 10 round situation. So at first, I had another aftermarket mag release, and so because these weren't available, but this is the one from the same manufacturer as the magazines, and they again sent new springs out. So the play is still a little bit more than stock, but it's less than it was with the other mag release. So anyway, we'll keep shooting, and then we'll come along with a full conclusion down the line. First results or first sensation with that Suarez barrel is positive, but shooting steel doesn't tell us very much at all. We need to get paper out and actually rest the gun. So yeah, it's going to be a fun journey to get this one all the way. And a longer project when the article comes from this DP Customs Glock 48 is going to be it's going to be fun. We're going to have a lot of talking points, so I'm excited about it. It's almost to the finish line, but it's been a kind of a long time coming. Just for those of you that haven't been following along, right now it's got the RMSC sight on it. So far, what that's seeming like is it functions well, but it's not as robust. I had another one that got, pretty banged up, pretty dented up. So I'm hopeful that along the road that they'll continue to use this form factor, but come out with a more robust design. Uh, Tentatively, right now, what I'd have to say is, if you're looking for a go-to-war optic, this isn't it. You'd be better served with uh, just metal sights than throwing this on, but I like where they're going with it. This light from Streamlight, the TLR6, we've got forgive the lint from, it's a carry gun. This trigger from SSVI, this barrel from Suarez, and all the slide work done from DP Customs right here in Monroe, North Carolina. And then made in the USA Shield Arms 15 round metal mags for the Glock 48 and 43X. So anyway, that's the ball of wax as it is right now, and we're still kind of refining data points before we publish an article about this one. So you're saying, hey, I like it. Right, so we're gonna test the trigger weight of these particular two handguns, the 365xl and the Glock 48. And while we're doing that, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about that amalgamation that ball of wax, whatever you want to call it, that I mentioned when it comes to the Glock 48. I'll kind of not bury the lead, but throw it right into the mix. Without reservation, for sure, I recommend to you the slide work from DP Custom Works. I've had several guns done with them. This is their concealed carry slide package, and it is it not only looks nice, but it functions. Like, again, the main point here is creating a place for a red dot on your gun, but the finish and everything is well done as well. The Suarez barrel is outstanding. Again, the primary point of aftermarket barrels is having a threaded barrel. It's not primarily accuracy improvement in these type of firearms, but you're certainly not losing any accuracy with this barrel, and it's really well executed, really well done. You've seen me mention the tier triggers from SSVI in the past. I think Glock triggers are fine on their own. Certainly am not somebody to recommend going out and replacing your trigger as a first stop. For sure, the main thing is just replace a set of sights. That's all you really need. But if you're going to replace a Glock trigger, this is my favorite personally, and there's lots and lots of options out there. The TLR6 from Streamlight has proven to be a great light, and I have no reservation about recommending it to you. Allows you, without really adding very much to the profile of this pistol, to put a light on your trigger guard. I do kind of wish that the Glock 48 had a rail on it, but I guess part of it being a slimline gun is you don't get everything. I like the Glock 48 a lot because it is so much like my Glock 19, and the shooting characteristics go along with that. It's not exactly like shooting a Glock 19, but there's a lot of transfer, and so for me, that's a great thing. It's a nice flat shooting gun, and I appreciate it. I've also got some Talon Grips. The most important part of that, not that they're necessary, I do like them, is kind of like a skateboard tape. The more aggressive part of the tape I like to put on the front side. I don't really like it all the way around because it wears on your skin when you're carrying, and I carry appendix. But that little bit of extra friction right under the trigger guard is something that I enjoy. Again, not necessary. Proper grip is all you need, but when you're out in the sun and your hands are getting sweaty, it definitely is nice to have. Both of these triggers were right at or right under 5 pounds when you averaged it all out, and they're both exceptionally crisp, and more importantly, they're just consistent. It's like it's the same over and over and over. The Glock 48 with this aftermarket trigger was right under 5 pounds, and the SIG 365xl was right over 5 pounds, but both in a what I consider kind of an acceptable range. I like a defensive trigger in the right around 5 pound category. 4.5 to 5.5 is ideal, but most important is not the weight. For me, it's the break and the consistency. So I think both of these have exceptional triggers, especially if you compare it to what we used to have. Oh man, even 10-15 years ago. It's just amazing how many of these little polymer guns are out there, and how really good they are in contrast to what we had over the years, though what we had was more than adequate. But if you can make it better, why not, right? So what you'll notice here is the 15 round extension mag on the XL makes it slightly taller than the Glock 48. So if somebody's thinking about carrying that, this is the reason why the Glock 48, that's a larger gun, is being compared in this category. There are some similarities with the way some people carry this particular gun. I would carry it with the 12 round mag and 15 as the backup. You'll notice that I haven't recommended the S15 mags. There seem to be mixed reviews out there right now. Notably, one of my friends and my teacher, James Yeager, has said that they're no good. And normally that information comes out because there have been lots of folks that have come through class with failures of various kinds. As I said earlier, my experience so far has been that my first mags that came in functioned, but they didn't hold open on the last round. I contacted Shield Arms. Those magazines, they sent out new springs. When I replaced the springs, so far they have reliably functioned and held open after the last round. But I've only got 2 mags, and I've only got about 500 rounds through the new magazine since then. So that's not enough data to suggest that when there are converging opinions out there, that they're that I'm willing to recommend that people use them in a carry capacity. If you want to have them for the range, great. I'm withholding judgment. I need more data personally before I'm willing to do so. But the Glock 48 and the 365xl are great guns from my opinion, from my perspective so far, and I'm really enjoying both of them. I don't think you'd go wrong with either one. I like the Hellcat, but if I had to pick just one, I'd pick one of the 2 remaining on the table.